Okay, so what you're looking at here is what appears to be a bunch of junk, and in a lot of ways it is. But one of the fun things to do with model building is what's called scratch build or kit bashing and things like that, where you take a bunch of things and make them into something else. So these are things I've collected over the years that I'm going to try to make something out of it. These are some of those plastic Easter eggs. I've had those for probably 20 years. I've just been keeping them from when my kids were young, that I'm going to someday do something with that. Got these old things that you use to, give medicine, Robitussin and all that stuff. I might try to use something with that. This is a cap to a defunct LED light. Got this is a stand to a Star Wars model kit that broke off, but I kept the lower part. This is a container of dog food. These are some plastic, little balls that you use for something, get trinkets in or something. These are medicine bottle caps. I got the medicine bottles as well, but I'm soaking the labels off. These are some kind of caps that were on something. So this is the unique thing here. This was a little candy dispenser that was like a bubble gum dispenser. I've kept that, I don't know how long I've had that. I've had that probably 20 years. And I've just kept it because I'm like, oh, I can make something out of it. Every time I start to make something out of it, I just look at it and think, man, it looks like a penis. Looks like a dildo, So, the tendency is to want to make a, make a rocket and or type thing out of it and put it all together. Spaceship. Kind of like Josie and the Pussycats, an outer space ship. But I can't help but think it looks like a pecker. And you don't want your model, when it's finished, the people look at it and the first thing you think is, hey, that looks like some kind of intergalactic dildo. So I'm going to use that. I just want to use it, but I want to try to do something with it so it doesn't look so phallic, if you will. So these are not all the parts I'm hoping to use. Here's a little plastic bottle that some candies came in for, Christmas cookies, those little sprinkles. Here's some plastic shot glasses I got. I thought they kind of looked like rocket engines, but maybe they're wrong size or what I'm going to do with it. I just don't know exactly what I'm going to make with it. I do have a box of old model parts that I'll be using. I don't have everything up here that I'm thinking about using, so it's going to be hard to tell. But I got to figure out what kind of glue works. I'm going to try some of this because this isn't styrene plastic. The good old classic testers isn't going to work, and even super glue won't work on some of this stuff. So got to figure out how I'm going to put it together. But somehow I want to take this pile of stuff. I don't know if I'm going to use it all, if I'm going to use some of it, and make something out of it. And been sitting here thinking about it for quite a while. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be able to make, but I don't know if I'll make a spaceship. I don't know. I mean, there's so many things you can do. You got this thing here. You could take this, and you could take this. See, you got some kind of something there, some kind of spaceship or something. I don't know. It's going to be hard to figure out. Maybe I can make a, I don't know, intergalactic lighthouse or something. But still, it looks like it looks like what it looks like. I don't know. I'll see what I can do. Here's a plastic bowl that you can make something out of. Maybe it's the back part of a spaceship. Who knows? So let's see what I can make out of this stuff. I'll be adding stuff to it as I go along. I'll be pulling out my famous plastic train kit parts. That always help accentuate stuff and see what we can do and kind of experiment, and that's kind of a fun project. It's going to be a scratch build. What it's going to be, I don't know. Here's a little piece from a excess piece to a, Legos. So maybe I'll find some of that stuff laying around and put that on there. I don't know. So here's something from an old I think it's Robotech is what that was. Something I put together a long time ago and somewhere along the line busted apart. So these are neat. I think those kind of look neat, like, you know, rocket engines or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Might be a complete bust. Even if it's a failure, it'd be fun to see what it looks like as a failure. All right, here's a little progress update on this so you can kind of see where I'm at on it. Taking me a long time to get where I'm at. I'm trying to keep it from looking like a big penis, but as you can tell, it's not looking great as far as not looking like a giant space dildo. Kind of looks like that billionaire's rocket ship. Looks like a vibrator, but I might put a little bit more detailing on it and see what we can do. The bottom down here is some caps and some thimbles and some tacks, and then some model parts. This middle part here is from an old Apollo model that I had back in the 80s. There's those pill bottle things I was talking about. Had a little trouble with glue, finding glue that would work, but I think I got something that will work. Of course, this here is a candy dispenser, and then I put this thing on the top, kind of trying to make it look a little bit less silly. That's what it looks like looking down on it. Of course, I'm going to paint the entire thing, so some of these details and with some weathering, maybe some decaling, might look a little different when it's all said and done. It's just a work in progress. I'm not sure how much more I'm going to put with it, but I will keep you up to date as this thing comes together. All the different parts. Some of them are model parts and bits and pieces of this and that. That looks like the glue held. It fell over from the wind and it stood up straight. That's what it looks like back there. So I'm glad it didn't bust apart, and that's a little success. So we'll see. I'll probably use some more styrene and reinforce this here to make sure that that doesn't come undone. And we'll see what it is. But as you can see, still looks a little dildo-y, if you will. Maybe that's what I'll call it. Dildo 1. Space Cruiser. Alright, so I've given a little base of yellow, and I'm going to be weathering it, and I'm going to add some decals and see what else I can do to it to kind of make it pop. Might add a few more pieces to it, but you're kind of getting the idea from what I'm going for. I like the color yellow. I think it's going to look pretty interesting once it's got some weathering and some kind of decal. So it's kind of coming together. It's kind of looking like something. I don't know. I guess we'll decide when it's finished. I'll do some painting and I'll add a wash to it and some other things. And as you can see, it's kind of coming together. Even looking a little bit more like a spaceship, I think. I guess you'll have to decide for me. I think it's coming out okay. Okay, now here it is. I think it's pretty much finished. That's about what I can do with it. This is the first scratch built I've done in quite some time. Can't remember the last scratch built I've done, but I think it came out okay. The weathering, of course, is what really helps sell anything, and so I'm finishing this up outside because I like the light out here, and it's a pretty good time of the day to get some interesting light back here in the yard. So you can kind of see this thing. So I think it came out pretty good. The weathering is good. I did find that the dull coat that I was initially used put some cracks in it here. So I went back to the testers. You can't really go wrong with the testers dull coat. It seems like the industrial grade stuff makes the paint crack, so I didn't want that. So I'm pretty happy with that. So that's kind of where it's at, and you can kind of see it there. Let's turn it this way a little bit so you can see the whole thing. I just used some decaling, which I think kind of helps sell it a little bit, and some of the decals probably don't make much sense, but I kind of envision this as just being a kind of like a work space craft. So that's kind of how I look at it. So it's not an important ship. It's not like the USS Enterprise. This is like a ship, like a semi that you might see on the highway any day of the week. So, but instead of on the road, you would see this thing in space. So, have a little astronaut I was going to put on it, but I forgot about it. I might put it on it later. But I kind of look at it and I kind of think of the Pigs in Space ship. If you remember Pigs in Space, because these engines back here, they were kind of similar to this. I think there's 4 of them though, but they kind of look like that. So that's just kind of how it came out. When I started this project, I didn't know what was going to come of it. And a lot of the stuff I initially showed you, I didn't use at all. And then some of the other stuff I just found later, and you know, when you're doing a scratch build, it just kind of evolves. So with the 3D printing, of course, people don't do as much scratch building because you can just print anything you want. Well, I don't know how to do that, and I don't have one of those. So this is kind of what it looks like from the back, and this is kind of what it looks like going around. So I hope you've enjoyed this build. It's just kind of a throwback to a different time when, you know, scratch building and building your own ships was kind of a thing. Now, of course, you would design it in a program and just 3D print anything you wanted. So this is a kind of a art that's kind of going away. People probably are not going to make models this way very much longer because they just really don't need to. So, you know, with 3D printing, you can just make anything you can dream of. So, I hope you've enjoyed what I've done with this. I enjoyed the process of it. It took me a little bit longer than I wanted. I had to figure out the glue, what to do with the glue, because of some of the different kinds of plastic did not respond to different kinds of glue. So that was kind of an interesting process, but I figured it out ultimately. And so there you have it. I do think it still kind of looks, you know, dildo-esque, if you will. But I think the weathering and the adding of the fins and things like that cuts down on that a little bit. So thanks for watching this video. As always, like and subscribe if you can. I would appreciate it, as I'm trying to get something going with my channel. So if you're a model builder, remember, model building is forever. It's an incredible art, and even though it's not as popular as it was when I was a kid, keep doing it. It's a heck of a thing, and it can really improve your outlook on the world, because when it's done, you've created a unique piece of art that's unique to you. So there it is. I guess I'll call this the Space Dildo 1. So there you go.